Hello everybody, and welcome to the webinar, How to 3 times Your Team's Sales Success in the Next 3 Months. I'm Ali Whitehead, and it's lovely to have you here. Now, I'm seeing some people that I know very well, that have been on my courses before, and some people that are very new to my webinar. So if you are new, hello, lovely to have you here. And as we get into the webinar, I'll be explaining a little bit more about why I feel I'm a great person to be going through this type of content with you. So without further ado, we're going to get into the actual webinar, and give me 2 seconds. We do love a little bit of technical issues. Just before we get going, just to give you the very best viewing experience that you can possibly get, do try and turn everything off in the background if you're working on a PC or a Mac or PC. Make sure that you haven't got too many windows open. Try and get rid of as many as you can. This will minimize any buffering that happens, and if there's a delay in you seeing some of the slides that I'm talking about, it may be because you've got some bits and pieces open. If you get a chance, silence your phone, close the door, let people know that you're not going to be available for the next hour. Please try and focus with me here. We do have a chat option, and we'll be asking some questions just to help me to help you as we go through the actual webinar. So I can see anything that you type in there, so feel free to ask questions as we go along. There will be a Q&A at the end, so if you do have any questions regarding the client converter or niching in, please do let me know, and I would be more than happy to answer some of your questions. Also, right at the very end, as well as the Q&A, you will get an opportunity to get your hands on your own client converter template, and as I say, right at the very end of the webinar, I'll let you know how you can get a hold of that. So let me know. Type into the chat box if you can. Let's get some interaction going. It's much more pleasant for me. I feel like I'm a radio presenter when I'm doing these things. So if you can chat to me in your chat box, let me know. Is your company-wide business development strategy, or even your desk's business development strategy, working like a sausage making machine? I.e., have you got enough of the great clients going into that funnel at the end there, being churning through in the sausage maker, coming out the other end as placements and as billing? And if it is, fantastic, well done. I'm hoping that some of the things that I'm going to help you with today will be able to increase that. And if it's not, then please let me know what isn't actually working right now, so I can tailor some of the slides as we go along to make that happen. So are you actually happy with the results that you're seeing from your business development strategy? Is there a strategy? That's the thing. And I've just had Richard. Hello, Richard. Lovely to see you. Probably not, from Richard and Joe. Are you happy with the results that you're seeing in your business development? Have you got an actual strategy to be able to take your clients from zero through to hero in a nice, easy fashion? And actually, as we're talking about a nice, easy fashion, what I'm looking at as we're going through these slide sets is going to be, can you add in some of the social media, some of the email to your voicemails to be able to increase your branding, increase your expertise out there? And that's what I'm hoping to show you today. If you're not happy with your results, then you're absolutely in the right place, and I'm sure I can put you in the right direction. Dara, thanks for that. Room for improvement here, fantastic. If not, what's holding you up? Why haven't you put something in place? What is stopping you right now from improving on your business development? Now, I'm going to take a wild guess that at the moment you are currently providing or plan to provide contingency recruitment, executive search solutions, temp and perm services, and you want to provide more. If that's the case, you're absolutely in the right place. And you're also in the right place if you want to build a highly engaged client database, and don't we all, who use your services again and again. You also want to be able to repurpose your candidates so you're not starting from scratch for every vacancy that you work. And we're going to go into more detail in that shortly. You're in the right place if you thought about how you can change the way you or your team currently engages new clients, but you've seen your competitors making changes and haven't been able to make a change yet, as you're not exactly sure what that change needs to look like, or how to do it yourself, or how to train your team to execute it. Well, you're in the right place again, because I'm going to show you how to do that today. The reality is, I know this because I've been in this place myself. You're too busy billing or helping everybody else to build to consider a strategic move in the business development side of things. If that's the case, please type in yes. If there's any other reasons, let me know. It'd be good to know that. If you change your current business development process, and I often get told, Ali, what process have I got? You might not reap the rewards quickly enough to keep up with the cash flow needs. Now, what I'm looking at here is that a lot of recruiters tend to work a business development strategy that is pretty much based on active roles. So roles that are out there in the marketplace, and they get hold of the active roles. And I did exactly the same thing, and they'd work the active roles. But really, these active roles are like C grade roles because there are so many other recruiters working on them. That we need to move them across to A grade roles, and it's impossible to take leads to A grade roles. So it's going to be kind of imperative, if you want to get those better secured roles in, that you move towards a slightly different strategy in your business development. And sometimes I've heard people tell me often that it's risky moving to a streamlined offering. And when we're moving to a streamlined offering, what I'm talking about is niching. Now, I've actually been on a rather huge marketing course recently with an American trainer, and one of her catchphrases was, "There's riches in those niches." Now, I can't say it as well as she did, but she's absolutely right. Some people still believe, though, that providing a wider base will provide more opportunities. And what I wanted to do today is show you that that is not necessarily the case. Okay. So, to start with, I wanted to just share with you some of my own billing and what actually happened during my billing. And this was a little while ago, and this was when I was a recruiter for a large high street agency. And when I was in year 4, as you can see, I was billing pretty well. But I've got to tell you right now, when I was billing pretty well, I was actually stressed up to the max. And that 340k that I was making in year 4, I don't think I could have made any more money working the strategy that I was working at that current time. I was literally working left, right and centre with as many people as I could possibly work with. I was doing a lot of transactional recruitment, and I'm not proud to say that I did let a lot of clients down during this time. Now, I was working with literally every Tom, Dick and Harry in the marketplace. I thought I was niche, which is really, really interesting. I was working in HR, and I was thinking, well, HR is niche, surely. And I was working literally as much as I could with whatever would come to me, and I would say yes to pretty much everything. So I was working with every Tom, Dick and Harry. I was working with the lower pay grades, so the people that are just out of university. I was working with right at the very top as well. In HR, I was working with broadcasting. I was working with banking and city type. I was working with local councils. I was working FMCG. I was working in the IT industry to hire their HR people. And as I was working in banking and finance as well, not to mention oil and gas. So as you can see, I had a pretty wide spectrum of clients that I was working with. Now, it was great having so many roles in, but they were all so very, very different that every time I got a role, I had to repurpose. Sorry, I had to find new candidates for each one of those roles. And on my desk, I would have anything between 10 and 20 roles that I was actively working. And these weren't all great roles either. A lot of the clients that I was working with, sometimes they even struggled to give me a job spec, to be fair. So I did actually reach a point where I was letting more people down than I was actually filling. And I did hit a point when I was hustling. I was hustling left, right and centre. And I had a lot of people bossing me around. I had a lot of clients bossing me around, and I was literally saying yes to everything, which was an absolute living nightmare. And to be fair, it wasn't worth that 340k I was getting. So I kind of hit a point when I was getting shouted at so much. I was getting a lot of unhappy customers that I had to sit down and make a decision on how I was going to run my desk. I couldn't continue as I was continuing. It was just no fun. The cold calling was awful. I hated it. And when I did make some inroads into it, I would get on jobs which, to be fair, I didn't understand that well, and I was trying to fill and trying to understand the industry as well, so it was pretty tough. I was also working very, very long, long weeks at that time as well. So what I had to do is sit down and work out a better way of doing it, a more strategic plan to put into place. And this all started with what clients I wanted to work with. So I sat down and I looked at all the data that was there on my database, all of the jobs that I'd filled, and I tried to find a sweet spot in there. Which I found. And the sweet spot for me was working in transformation. So I was looking at transformation consultants, and I was specifically looking at transformation consultants in the FMCG marketplace. So that's where I kind of focused myself in, which worked brilliantly. Now, what I also needed to do was put into place a way of enticing these types of clients into my pipeline. There were quite a few of them, so the initial research was quite lengthy and it took me time to do it. But once I'd done it, then I started to understand what exactly it was that these clients, these ideal clients that I wanted to work with, what they actually wanted from me and how I could provide it. So after months of trying to figure out what niche to work in and executing and, believe me, re-executing and doing it again, a strategic plan of how to really understand this sector, I'm going to call it dominate this sector, I built my very first 42k month ever. And I can't tell you, I was over the freaking moon when I did that. I'm not big and I'm not clever, but what I did was manage to tap into something that worked really, really well. And the moment I did that, and I actually remember having a glass of champagne in my hands, it might have been 2 or 3, I sat down and thought, you know what, if this works and this can work this month, there's no reason why I can't replicate this, and I can't replicate it again and again and again, which is exactly what I did. Now, if you have a look at my billing figures, the year 5 was when I had to make those changes, and it went down dreadfully. That was when I lost a massive client. Because I wasn't filling all of the roles that he wanted me to, and I was letting him down left, right and centre. So that was my aha moment. That was my sit down, work out what I need to do. So I niched in and I put a client converter into place. Year 6 saw me go up to 520k. Year 7 I replicated it again, and year 8 I replicated it again and again. So year 9 looked very similar. Now, I love to say I'm a 750k biller. I'm not. I'm a 746k biller. I did try very hard to reach that 750k, but it never quite happened. Anyway, so just to move on. So what I'm going to share with you today is all about niching and client converters. Now, the one thing that I wanted to add before I move any further forward is that client converters, they do not work if your client reach is too wide. Believe me, I tried to put it in and I've seen clients do the same thing. My clients, my recruitment clients, they don't work if your reach is too wide. To get massive results from a client converter, the secret sauce is to niche each desk into a very, very specific area. And when I say specific, I mean as specific as you possibly can get. So the 2 things I'm going to share with you today are going to be an inch wide, a mile deep, which is your niching, and your client converter. Now, when I talk about an inch wide, a mile deep, some of the people that have been on my training will understand the terminology that I'm using here. And it's becoming a true expert at what you do. Now, when I was going into niching into my particular area, I probably went way above what I needed to, because I was niching in HR. I ended up going down and taking a CIPD, which was a night class, to understand the HR route a little bit more. I'm not necessarily saying that you do need to do that, but to understand your industry and the actual sector that you're going to be working in, you want to understand it as much as you possibly can, so you can be seen out there as an expert and your branding will go through the roof. It's such a fantastic place and a way to be. Some of you may think you're niching already. You might be in IT, you might be in audiovisual. Have a think about where that sweet spot is and where you can find that sweet spot, because that is what will make the money. And as my lovely American coach said, the riches are in the niches. So we're going to have a look at why to niche, how to niche, and the questions you need to ask. And then we're going to have a look at your client converter, what it is, why it works, how to do it, and I'm going to show you a template which is converting by about 58% at the moment, so a pretty good template to be looking at. Now, before I go any further, I just wanted to show you, and some of you who are on this call will know Kate, and I know how hard Kate has worked over the last couple of years to be able to change her business around. When I first met Kate a couple of years ago, Kate was running Angela's, a local high street recruitment agency, and she was recruiting geographically for pretty much anybody who will work in her particular geographic area. Now, I sat down with Kate and we went into a niching exercise, and we took her into a sweet spot, which was her admin support. Now, once Kate and then her team started niching in admin support, she was able to create a client converter, and she began targeting clients using lead magnets, voice calls, emails, etc. And she was able to increase her business spending by about 150%. And she's now replicating this model in the financial services side of things. So I just wanted to show you how well niching and client converters work together. And Kate isn't the only person that's done this. There are a couple of people on this call as well that have been in exactly the same position. So imagine how good it would feel if you could actually crack it so you're able to niche in a particular area and be able to get the right clients and then the right candidates into your pipeline and be able to work them and repurpose things again and again. So where do we start? So let's start with your niching, an inch wide and a mile deep. So why bother niching? Okay, the first one for me, and this is what saved me so much time I can't tell you, is to be able to repurpose some of the candidates you're looking for. Now, when you go out and do a search on a candidate, that candidate is obviously going to put forward to one role. What you want to be able to do is put that candidate forward to a couple of your roles and be able to sell that candidate out to the marketplace. What's also really fantastic about these candidates is that they're going to be able to introduce you to other people and other candidates who are in that niche, who they would recommend to you. And if you are providing a fantastic service to that candidate, then they will recommend you to other candidates. I don't know if anybody here struggles to get referrals and recommendations, and if you do, it might be because you're not niching up enough, or it might be that you're perhaps doing your referrals and your recommendations at the wrong time. So if you are, stay tuned, because I'm going to show you how you might be able to overcome that. Niching will give you true expertise in your industry and give you total brand uniqueness. You won't need to compete against anybody else that's out there in the marketplace. It'll just be you, and your clients will be drawn to you because they see that you're like them. They'll see that you understand the marketplace that they're in, and they'll want to talk to you because you're an expert, because you're a consultant in that particular area. If you think about who you go to and you use as consultants, I have got a bit of a dodgy hip at the moment, and I've got a hip consultant. And the reason I go and see a hip consultant rather than a general GP is because he knows a lot more about that area and can help me to be able to overcome some of the difficulties I'm having with my hip. So it makes obvious sense to me to go and see my hip consultant rather than my GP. It's exactly the same in recruitment. There is no diluting. Your consultants will get total clarity on what it is that they're recruiting for, the type of people that they need to be looking for. When they're doing their searches and their Boolean searches, it's so much easier to do it when you know exactly the type of candidate that you're looking for and the level of candidate that you're looking for. When you know the level of clients that you're looking for and what that client should look like, what industry they're in. And suddenly, instead of working with like 100% of the possible clients that are out there, you're niching down and only working with a small percentage of them, which is a much, much more clear cut way of working in recruitment. You will attract great clients and not just any clients, and you absolutely will get ahead of the game. You're going to be getting A grade jobs which aren't going out to the general population, and not C grade jobs where it's a bit of a bum fight to get your candidates in front of your clients. So the question is how you can actually niche. I would suggest that the very first place that you want to start is doing a client and candidate avatar exercise. Now, this is looking at and doing, it's like a marketing 101 for you. You want to get a real understanding of what your clients and candidates' pains and pleasures are. So when you do go to market and you start putting your emails together and you start speaking to your clients and your candidates, you understand exactly what's driving them. We are driven by two emotional drivers as humans beings, and we have been back since the prehistoric time. We are driven by pleasure, the need to walk towards pleasure and to run towards pleasure, or to run away from pain. Pain is a much stronger driver than pleasure. So if you are able to dig into people's pain points and speak to them as one person rather than lots of different people, then you are more likely to get them into your pipeline, and they'll see you as being the expert, and they'll see that you understand them and that you're like them. Now, if you're on this webinar today, I think about 20 people that are on this webinar today have actually come through a Facebook ad, and that's a very targeted campaign that I put together. And I use some of the pain and pleasure points that I'm talking about here as a way of enticing you onto this webinar today. So I tried speaking to you using your pleasure and pain points, speaking to one particular person, and showing you that I can solve some of your issues. So that's a really good example of how to niche and where you can niche in, and in fact how you can use it. You can use it as targeted ads, pay-per-clicks, and you can use it in your emails and your social media. If you're not using Facebook, you can certainly do it in LinkedIn as well, and you become the go-to expert. So what I've just shared here, now I don't think you're going to be able to see this terribly well, but I put it on there anyway. This is my avatar exercise that I put together once a year to be able to understand the pain and pleasure points of my particular clients. And for me, I use all of these to be able to structure my blogs, structure my emails, structure my conversations that I have with my clients, to be able to understand what it is they're looking for and be able to fashion really good solutions for them. A really great example of niching, I'm taking it out of recruitment, and I found this, is a shop called Lefties. Now, Lefties is based in San Francisco, and this is an example of true niching. About only 10% of the population is left-handed, and that means only 10% of the San Franciscan population is left-handed. And these guys are absolutely flying in their sales. They put together, I don't know if you are left-handed, I am, but trying to find a pair of scissors that actually cuts when you're left-handed is an absolute nightmare. So they have provided a solution in a very niche area of the population in San Francisco. And they're making an absolute mint. So instead of going wide and just providing school supplies, kitchen goods and gardening tools for the general population, the left and right-handed population, they are really focused into doing it and providing a solution for this particular ones. If you have a look at the way that they are, how they're currently trading, it's absolutely astonishing to see their growth. So it's a really good example of niching. The next thing I want to get onto and show you a little bit more about is a client converter. Now, a client converter is a 12-touch process, and I'm going to talk you through very briefly why using a 12-touch process works. I'm going to get into Dr. Cialdini's 6 Principles of Influence. Now, Dr. Cialdini is a scientist, and he's written 3 of the most influential books, business books in the world ever, and he's a New York Times best-selling author as well. So what Cialdini has done is he's done a whole heap of scientific experiments to show us that if we use these rules of influence, of persuasion, and we can do this via our voice calls with our clients, with our candidates, via social media, via email, we are getting more people to be influenced to say yes and persuaded to say yes. And I'm going to share with you Dr. Cialdini's findings, which I use in all of my all of my social media marketing, all of my emails, all of my voice conversations that I have with my clients. Now, just as a side note, this is also fantastic to use for family members, with friends, and with small boys as well. I've got a 7-year-old and an 11-year-old, and I use Cialdini's Principles of Influence to get them to do things that they don't necessarily want to do. So if that interests you, stay tuned. A client converter also is a way of marrying up your email, social media, and autoresponders with telephone and face-to-face funnels. So it's like putting it all together to make it a whole. If you don't know that much about autoresponders, I'm going to be going through that really briefly in a moment, but at the end of this you'll see that I do actually cover this in more detail in one of my courses, so you might want to take a look at that. Now this is proven to work. This has gone into many clients that I'm working with and have worked with over the last 5-6 years. And it creates trust and expertise in your marketplace without you appearing to be a complete pain to your clients. You're going at it at a very strategic level. This is something which works over 3, 6 months, a year, 2 years. This isn't your quick fix, although it can happen very quickly. This is a cycle that you're going to put in place that you're going to be able to replicate again and again and again. You can replicate it, your consultants can replicate it. So that's why it's so helpful. Okay, let me explain the 12-touch process. Now, this is some facts about sales and marketing, which I've taken from a colleague of mine, Nikki Coffin, and it's very interesting what these statistics come out at. Now, 48% of salespeople, apparently, and we can replicate salespeople with recruiters, never follow up with a prospect. Why is this? Why don't we follow up with our prospects? It's usually because we either forget once we get a lead in, or we don't take that lead from perhaps somebody's CV and put it into a system that works. So, unfortunately, only 48% of salespeople, 52% of salespeople follow up with a prospect, 48% of them don't. The next step, 25% of salespeople only make a second contact and then they stop. Again, why might they stop? Because we are human, we're not infallible, and we often forget about being able to move forward with a prospect, or maybe they've said no to us and we don't want to call them again because it wasn't terribly pleasant. 12%, and this is a really small amount of salespeople, only make 3 contacts and then they stop. So only 12% of people make 3 contacts and continue making those contacts. So what does this mean? Well, it means that they're losing a small fortune because, and this is the interesting part, 2% of sales are made on the first contact. 3% of sales are made on the second contact, 5% of sales are made on the third contact, and 10% of sales are made on the fourth contact. Now, this is a very low percentage of sales that are made. And if you think about it, it's hardly surprising because the amount of money that your clients are going to be spending with you is anywhere between £2,000 and £60,000, depending on the level that you're recruiting at. And anywhere in between there, let's say £10,000 to £20,000, it's a lot of money to be spending on something and someone that they don't know, like and trust. So the sales process needs to be a gradual rapport building, trust building, and it's not until you reach the 5th to 12th contact that you start being able to convert your clients. Now, if you have a look at the amount of people that actually make 3 contacts and stop, that's only 12%. What does this mean? It means that if you're like most recruiters and make no more than 1 follow-up to your potential clients or candidates, then you're leaving about 98% of your income on the table for one of your competitors to come pick up. It basically means you need to make more than 4 contacts. So making 4 contacts is all very well, but those contacts need to be the right contacts. It's no point just ringing clients up willy-nilly and finding out where they are and where they're sitting if you haven't got anything constructive and nothing to do for them. So that's why I introduced Cialdini's 6 principles of influence into my own funnel and then into my clients' funnels. Now, as I said, Cialdini is an absolute master at the principles of influence, and the principle of influence and persuasion is getting somebody to yes. This needs to be done ethically and morally, of course, and there are 6 principles of influence that will go into a client converter and can go into many other things as well. So the first one is reciprocation. Now, one of our human drivers is reciprocation. So let me give you an example of this. If, say, for example, I went to the pub with one of you lovely people on the webinar, and let's choose Guy. Guy, hello, I'm going to go to the pub with you, and I'm going to go to the bar and I'm going to get both of us drinks, and then we're going to sit down again and we're going to finish the drinks. And at this point, there is an unwritten contract, an unwritten rule where I would expect Guy, and Guy would expect to go to the bar and buy a drink in return. The reason for that is because we don't like to feel indebted to somebody, and we feel that once somebody has done something, we need to do something back. I don't know if you've ever got a party invite from somebody, and you feel that if you're having a party, you need to invite them back again. That's the number one rule of influence, and it works brilliantly in recruitment, and I'm going to show you how. The second one is commitment and consistency, and this is getting people to say give small yeses until they are ready to give you a big yes. So a good example of this is asking somebody to do something small for you rather than asking for something large. So instead of going straight in when you are first talking to your clients and trying to get in front of them, getting a visit from them, get them to do something small for you first. Get them to say something, say yes to something which wouldn't cause them too much hassle. It might be getting them to agree to be linked in with you when on LinkedIn. It might be agreeing for you to email them something over. It might be agreeing to a next telephone call, something which they can agree to as you're going through your rapport building and trust building process, 12-step process with them, getting them to say small yeses as you're going along until you hit that touch point 5 to 12 when you can go in and get a big yes for them, and they are much more likely, I think it's something like 48% more likely to say yes to you if you can get them to say small yeses to start with. The next principle of influence is social proof, and what Cialdini is basically telling us is that we are all lemmings. So we will really take notice of what other people do. A good example of social proof is the website TripAdvisor. So I don't know if you use TripAdvisor, but if you're going on to TripAdvisor and you're looking for perhaps a restaurant or a hotel to use, then you will see, and you will probably be influenced by the fact that it's number 1 or number 2 on TripAdvisor. And then you'll be looking at the type of people that are rating it, the type of people that are reviewing it, and how they like you. And if they are, you're going to go, okay, that sounds like a good place to go, and that's a good option. Another example of this is if you are looking for somewhere to eat and you're walking down the high street and you see one restaurant which is full to bursting and another restaurant which is pretty empty, you're going to go with the one that's full to bursting, because if all of those other people think it's right, then surely it must be. And we can use social proof in recruitment by putting testimonials together, by using case studies, by showing our clients that there are other clients which are using us and they're able to identify with them. The next principle of influence is authority. A lovely picture of the Chips guys here. And authority is shown to us in many ways. And the way that we tend to see it is in adverts on the television, where we've got dentists who are trying to sell us toothpaste. And we're more likely to do something if somebody who has got the authority and expertise is telling us to do it. So if you can position yourself in the marketplace as being that expert, being an inch wide, a mile deep, you are much more likely to persuade somebody to say yes to you, because they understand that you're a total authority in your area. But they need to see that, and they'll see it through lead magnets, they'll see it through your social postings, they'll see it through blog posts. So you need to provide that evidence and that proof that you're an authority in that particular area. A way of doing this can be by quite literally on your website telling them that you are niching in that area, or in your email signatures or the name of your company, the fact you're niching in that area. The fifth one is liking. People like people who are like themselves. So if you can show people again that you are you're in their industry, you know their industry, you're very similar to them, you've got things in common, building that rapport right at the very beginning is really, really, really important. And there are loads of ways that you can do this, and I'm just going to sort of reel off a couple of them. It's interesting actually, because when I'm looking to build rapport with my clients and I'm not face to face with them, I'm on the telephone, and it's the first time that I've spoken to somebody, and they've gone through my my lead generating and my strategy sessions, and I'm on the phone to them, one of the first things I'll try to do is establish some sort of rapport and something that we are together on. And at my age, it's usually children, so it's how to run a business and how to run a family life as well. And the moment that somebody realizes that you're in a very similar situation to them, that they will start warming to you, the rapport goes up tenfold, and you're able to move forward into a business conversation once there is a liking there. And the next one is scarcity. Scarcity is fantastic as well, and it's one which is used out there left, right and centre. It's basically, this is a limited time offer. There's only a certain amount of these available. If you are booking, I don't know if you guys book hotel rooms or flights or planes or anything like that, and you go onto booking.com or a similar website, you'll see next to it, 52 people are looking at this particular hotel room. There's only 2 left on the website. Hurry now, otherwise you are going to miss out. Now, you and I both know that it's probably just a marketing gimmick that they're doing, but you're going to press on it anyway because you don't want to miss out on that particular deal. Apple have done it loads. Whenever they bring out a new iPhone, they will use the scarcity and they will get you to pre-order, and they will tell you that there's nowhere near enough iPhones to go around, so you're going to have to queue, as you can see, all the way around at the outside of the building to be able to get your Apple iPhone. Now, keep that in mind. I've just seen that there's a new Apple 8 and an Apple 10 coming out. So if you are looking at the way Apple market, then you can probably see at least 3 or 4 of Cialdini's marketing principles and sales principles in the way that Apple market, and they do pretty well. So now we understand that we need a 12-touch process and we understand Cialdini. What we need to do is put it together. And what I'm sharing with you here is a outline of a client converter, which is in one of my clients at the moment. I won't name names, and this has got a 58% conversion rate. So 58% of the clients that go into the funnel as point number 1 come out by point 12 as being converted and a paying client, so they're giving them roles. And this works brilliantly, and I'm going to explain to you why. So the very first point on here is putting a warm call into the client. I have tried putting client converters in where there isn't a call. First of all, it's emails and it's social media, and I can tell you right now it doesn't work. The very first thing you must do is pick up the telephone and do a reference or a referral. Now, if you are niching enough, using a reference as a business development call, as a way in, a starting point, absolutely works. So if you're not using referencing as a way in, you want to start thinking about how you can do that now. Or referrals are exactly the same. What we're using here is social proof and liking. They're the 2 principles that are used in this particular touch points that we're looking at. Once you have got a warm call and you've done the reference, or you've spoken to them and found out a little bit about the business and how you can help them, then you want to get a small yes from them. And I would suggest that you ask them to be linked in, which is point number 2, or you ask them if you can contact them via email, or you can, I don't know, add them as a friend on Facebook if that's the way that you do your social media, or you can tweet with them, whatever it is. But it's that small yes that you're looking for. Remember, that's a consistency and commitment in Cialdini's 6 principles of influence. Once you have done those first 2 touch points, then the third touch point is something which I call a lead magnet, and this is actually something which you're giving them. So this is a gift. Now, don't get me wrong, when I say a gift, it can be a physical gift or a virtual gift, but it needs to be something of value to that particular client. It needs to show your expertise, and it needs to show your authority. It needs to show that you're good in your area. So anything that you can put together, white papers, salary surveys, anything like that, will be really, really helpful. Now, if you aren't using this lead magnet structure at the moment, then it's something that I would highly recommend that you start looking at and putting into your business. What you're actually doing here is many of Cialdini's principles of influence. You're using the expertise one, you're using the liking one, and of course you're using reciprocation, because you are now giving them something and they feel in your debt. Now, the next point on here is sending a profile to a client. So once they have received your lead magnet, they go, oh, that's very helpful, fantastic. They are much more likely to be receptive to a profile of a candidate that matches their business. And remember, if you're niche, your candidates should be matching pretty much all of your client businesses. It might not be the right level for them, but it's a kind of a real live example of what type of candidates you've got. That profile needs to be a really great candidate, an MPC, a most placeable candidate, a really, really good one. This is you showcasing what you've got available, what your wares are. And then this is where your telephone sales comes in, and you need to call them up and talk to them about that profile and find out a little bit more about them. Find out using some very simple consultant based questioning that will help you to understand how you can provide a good solution for this particular client moving forward. Now, the next thing that this business does is, once they've done that profile, and at this point, I don't know what the conversion rate is here, but at this point we're on touch point 5, so we're on an 80% conversion rate. If you get to touch point 5, you're 80% more likely to convert your clients than you would have been at touch point 1, 2, 3, or 4. So if you're going in trying to get some engagement on profiles, or going in for a visit at touch point 1, 2, or 3, and 4, forget it. You're going to really, really struggle. You'll get about 2% of people saying yes to you. Whereas if you wait a little bit and do it touch point 5, 6 through to 12, you are much more likely to get engagement, much more likely to get a yes. At this point, we'll call and actually sell the profiles. Next point is they've done something for you, so we're indebted to them. We're going to send them another lead magnet or a gift. You can call it lead magnet or a gift, whatever you like. Now, at this point, I've seen gift vouchers going out. I've seen cupcakes. I've seen I've seen tea bags. I've done tea bags myself. I've seen Diet Coke going out. Whatever it is, it's not necessarily what you give them, although if what you give them is valuable and shows your expertise, it will help tenfold. It's the act of giving that makes it important, because the next thing you're going to do is call them up and try and get a meeting. So remember, we're at touch point 7, and you are 80% more likely to get a meeting now than you would have done right at the very beginning. Hopefully your client will say yes to that meeting. Now, there is a very specific way of asking for meetings, and I do train this in my training. It's actually a technique that BT used to use, and it works brilliantly. So once you've got that meeting, you're going to send them a meeting outline. And in that meeting outline, you're going to outline how great you are. You're going to show them that you want to understand their needs, that you're going to try and get a consultative meeting together, and on that visit, you're going to show them how you can provide a really good recruitment solution with them so that you can partner with them. Touch point number 9, attend the meeting. And then touch point number 10, hopefully you would have converted the client now. Now, obviously, this doesn't work 100% each time, because your clients are going to be at different buying stages. Some of your clients are going to be at buying stage when they know they're going to have something for you in the future, or they are going to be needing you in the next couple of weeks, or they're not going to be needing you at all in the foreseeable future, although it's good for you to be able to get a handle on what they're looking for, because they don't know the movement of their staff. If you can't convert the client on this particular meeting, then I would suggest you go back to step 3 and go through the client converter again. It's like a wheel, but slow that wheel down and make sure that you're not intruding on their business life too much, but you're able to go through the client converter steps to be able to get as much engagement as possible. Then you want to send them the terms and conditions, call to confirm, and if they don't convert, you're back to step 3. Now, that is a very basic outline of what a client converter should look like, and I do hope that that's been helpful to you and you can move forward with it. Now, I just wanted to explain lead magnets in a little bit more detail. This is, in fact, a lead magnet. So the webinar that you're on right now, you would have gone through a funnel with me, and I would have offered you the opportunity to have some really great training and understand what it is that's working out in the marketplace at the moment, how to increase your sales. And if you do put a client converter in your niche down, I can guarantee you that you're going to at least 3 times your sales success if you're putting the right people into your funnel. And the lead magnets I've got up here, and some of them work brilliantly in recruitment. Read our salary survey. Salary surveys work brilliantly. Other things that work really well are how to interview well, what the industry is looking like, a survey of the industry, what your candidates are looking for, how to get the right candidates into your particular brand and your business. These type of things work fantastically and are very, very easy to put together. Another thing I just wanted to mention quickly is about autoresponders. Now, autoresponders are an absolute game changer in recruitment. And if you don't have an autoresponder in your business, again, I would recommend that you get one in QuickSmart. Your databases are fantastic, but what autoresponders do are you're able to put a funnel in place. So when you're putting a client converter in place, you can automate a lot of the emails that go out via an autoresponder. So you're not even thinking about them. You're literally just going to get a reminder that this particular email is going out, and so you need to make an action on it, and you might need to pick up and make a sales call on it. I couldn't live without autoresponders, and some of the ones that are the most prevalent out there are MailChimp, mostly because it's free. Some of the other ones are fantastic. Aweber, ActiveCampaign is the one that I particularly use. And have a think about putting an autoresponder in your business, because they can increase your marketing massively, especially if you have got lead magnets to work with. And you will have clients really, once they are opted into your particular funnels, they will be a lot more engaged, and they'll trust you a lot more, and they'll see you as being the person to go to for their recruitment solutions. So, what do you think? I'm kind of guessing on the reasons that you're here today, and I'm thinking that you're probably tired of you and your team putting massive time and effort into your sales and marketing, and not seeing a fruitful return. I know that's where I was. I was working long and hard, and I was literally doing transactional cold calling back, and it wasn't working for me. You might want to do more of what you love, so working on your business and not necessarily in it. And have your team working a well-oiled sausage machine, so you've got enough of the right clients coming into that funnel. You're able to provide a really fantastic solution and service to be able to churn them out at the end into placements and billings. And you're certain that given the tools, your team can build more relationships and grow their desks. So it's time for you to step up onto the field and really dominate your niche, and really get into that niching area and become truly profitable recruiters. And I promise you, if you put just these two things in, as well as all of the other things which you can do to be able to support them, this will help you enormously. So I'm going to show you and share with you a system for you and your recruiters that takes all of the guesswork out of how to sell and deliver your recruitment solutions, because that's equally as important to secure your business with a profitable, repeatable and scalable model to work with. Now remember, nothing I've shared with you today is theory, nothing at all. I've used these strategies to grow a 7 to 50 KPA desk, and my clients are doing exactly the same right now. And I can tell you right now, I'm absolutely no genius. I just have a system that works, and if I can do it, and so can you, and so can your team. So would you like you and your consultants to be able to fill at least 3 times more placements than they're currently filling, without the stress of cold calling and hustling? So let me introduce you to the Profitable Recruiter. Now, the Profitable Recruiter is my own training program that I've put together over the last 10 years. So it's like a culmination of all of the things that I believe makes a great recruiter. This isn't necessarily the basic things. This is taking your recruiting methodology right now and putting a rocket up it. It's a complete blueprint for recruiters to deliverable billing, better profits and processes, which will flood your pipeline with great candidates and ideal clients, building massive trust and quickly adding to your bottom line, because that's basically what it's all about. Now, I think I might have one of Ruth's colleagues on here today. Hello, Rachel. How are you? Ruth has been through my training program before. And what Ruth was able to do was niche up big time. Ruth was already niche, by the way, but we took her into her sweet spot. We were able to look at it and research it and go into it in a lot more detail. Ruth put a client converter together, and she used something called MPC training, and that's most placeable candidates training. This is working with candidates on a candidate-led model, not a job-led model. And what Ruth was able to do, this is just one example, was directly source, interview and placed an NPC into a client from the converter and made an extra 9k fee, and I think that was a December fee, and she took the lead as the highest bidding consultant in the company. Now that's just one example of how fantastic NPC training and client converter can be, to be able to increase the amount of business that comes into your particular firm. And that's just one placement. So the Profitable Recruiter is a mixture of online training and live training. You can choose to have just the online training, which is absolutely fine, or you can choose to have live training with me in London as well. So module 1 is all about desk efficiency. So what I've done is I've taken 3 areas in recruitment which, if tweaked well and you're doing the right things at the right time and working efficiently, then these will make a massive difference to your billing. This is exactly what I did when I moved from that 290k up to the 540, and I was able to do it, as you saw, in 1 year. So what I teach is how to set goals and create a plan to take you to the next billing level. I teach how to streamline your processes and use magic numbers to drive activity and focus. What we're doing is we're taking dreams and we're turning them into a reality by putting it into KPIs, by putting it into magic numbers and looking at what truly works as a recruiter and what you need to be spending your core time on. I'm going to take you into the art of niching and exactly how to do it, exactly where you can niche into. And as I say, there's riches in those niches. We're going to have a look at where exactly that is. I'm going to share the secret of launch meetings so you can get exclusivity with about 90% of your clients and roles. Launch meetings are amazing and they work brilliantly. So if you don't have a launch meeting agenda in your company at the moment, then that alone will help you to be able to minimise your risk and take control of both your clients and candidates, increasing your fill rate up to about 80%. The average fill rate in recruitment, and this is shocking, is way under 20%. So for let's say every 5 roles you have on your desk, you will only fill just under 1 of them, which, as I say, is absolutely shocking. And that's not necessarily your fault. It's just the way that contingency market works. But we can increase that up and we can get you filling 4 out of 5 rather than 1 out of 5. The second module is all about candidate skills. So I'm going to show you how to work a candidate-led recruitment model alongside a job-led model. So what I'm talking about is NPC strategies, and only 8% of recruiters are using these, which is astonishing. It will add at least 1 more placement into your pipeline a month. So as well as doing your job-led recruitment model, so you get a job in and you fill a job, we're going to take it and we're going to turn it on its head, and we're going to work with candidates using a very, very specific method of doing it. This isn't just specking out a candidate, this is giving them the VIP red carpet treatment and working with them very, very closely to be able to get them roles. I'm going to show you the art of finding passive candidates, which I can guarantee your competitors aren't currently using. There is a real trend at the moment, and this is because we've been given so many sourcing tools to actually find candidates, that most of the candidates that are out there that people are finding are not passive, they're active. I'm going to show you how to tap into that passive marketplace using tools that other people aren't using, and some of them could be your way into finding your niche candidates much, much quicker. How to interview candidates using competency framework. And when I talk about competency framework, we're looking at performance-based hiring here, which is an absolute catchphrase at the moment in the HR industry. Performance-based hiring, rather than any other way of hiring, is the way forwards. And I'm going to show you how to use that cutting-edge interview technique in your own hiring, so you can increase your hiring accuracy by up to 30%, which is stunning. And I'm also going to show you how to conduct a strategy session to engage passive candidates and gain exclusive agency rights to their profile. So if we have a look at authors, film stars, etc., these guys only use one agent, and they work with one agent to be able to get them the roles and the films and the books out there that they're looking to be able to publish and work on. We should be working in exactly the same way, and I don't understand why we're not, because it's actually very easy to put that into your business. And then module number 3, we've got business development and marketing strategies. So this is, we're going to cover in detail some of the areas that we've looked at today, which is a client converter and the niching. And I'm going to show you the exact methodology to use and add a solid client converter into your desk, and I'm going to help you to be able to build it. I'm going to show you how to put together and publish lead magnets, which create trust and expertise, and they will literally skyrocket your brand. They are brilliant to use. We're going to put together a 3-month sales and marketing template using a client converter to ensure that your prospect clients are contacted at exactly the right time for you, and you will get them into a position so they're able to buy from you nice and easily. And then finally, how to finally close your clients and secure you the fees that you deserve and not what they're paying you for your lesser competitors. If I look at the clients that I'm currently working with, and some of you are on this call at the moment, and I'm sure you will attest to this, all of the clients that I work with always get a 3% uplift in their fees during the time that they're working with me, and I'm going to show you how you can do that so you truly do get a L'Oreal moment. So what you're going to get is a complete step-by-step training program online with the exact techniques on how to become a more profitable recruiter. You can get access to 25 plus training videos, which I have put together personally, and I'm using my own techniques and the techniques that are working out there in the marketplace right now. It is 100% online. You can view it on demand, so you don't have to sit down and watch it at a particular time like today. And there are loads of cheat sheets, templates and scripts moving forward in that as well. So what can you expect to happen in your business if you or one of your colleagues or several of your colleagues do actually take the training? You will see a move towards desk niching and repurposing of candidates, which will save you so much time. It's unbelievable. You'll see an uplift in fees. As I say, it's usually a 3% uplift within those 3 months. A process-driven value proposition to entice your candidates and clients to you and not to your competitors, and we're talking about niching here. More exclusive roles and exclusive candidates, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do that through strategy sessions. And a move into candidate as well as job-led recruitment process using MPC strategies to drastically increase your client and candidate engagement. I'm going to show you how to put a client converter, and you can be able to put a client converter into your business specific to your needs, and you will see a higher billing team moving forwards. I'm going to share with you all of my swipe files, all of the emails that are currently working, selling profiles, getting people engaged, getting people to call you back and getting meetings. I'm going to share with you all my cheat sheets, so how to do a pre-qualification call, how to do a really great client visit, how to do a competency-based or performance-based interview. All of these are in the library on the online tool that I'm going to be using. Now, as a bonus, I'm also putting in a extra module called how to make a change and make a move into the retained model. This will give you the exact steps that you need to do to take your contingency recruitment into a retained recruitment model if that's what you want to do. So it's a bonus module there for you. And the other bonus module which I put in there is using autoresponders to increase your sales and marketing conversions. And I will show you the exact techniques that recruiters are using right now to be able to engage clients into their pipeline, then to take them through a client converter. So, are you ready to increase the amount of clients and candidates coming into your business? And I'm sure you're saying to me, so, yeah, I've got loads of you left saying, yeah, come on, how much is the investment? Okay. So, the standard package, there are 3 packages which you can choose from, is a one payment of £497 or 3 instalments of £179. The package includes access for 1 delegate to all the online modules in the Profitable Recruiter online training. It also includes all the videos, cheat sheets and swipe files and downloadable content. And it includes access for 1 delegate to the 2 bonus modules, moving to a retained model and using autoresponders in recruitment. So that is the standard package. The next package that we have available is the bestseller package, which is a little bit more hand-holding. So this is you get more of me as a coach and a trainer basically. So what I've included in this is everything that you get in your standard package, but also you get access to the private Facebook page groups. So I'm in and out of the private Facebook page groups all of the time. If you've been in one of my programs before, you'll know how useful they are and how fantastic they are to be able to talk to other people going through the same things. And also, if you've got if you're stuck or you've got a problem or something you want answered quite quickly, I will delve in and out of that to be able to help you. You'll also get access to 1 day of live training in London with myself. So a whole day going through one of the modules, which is going to be the best one for you. You can get to choose which one you want to go on: the desk efficiency, candidate excellence, or business development. And you also get access to 2 live coaching calls with myself to help you to be able to implement some of the things which are going into your business. And the last package is the ultimate package, which is one payment of 1,497 or 3 instalments of 547. Now this package includes everything we've just spoken about, but you also get access to all 3 of the live training modules in London. So there's obviously desk efficiency in October, the candidate excellence in November, and the business development and marketing in December. Now, this is kind of the ultimate package where you get the ultimate hand-holding. I'm going to be there every step of the way as you start implementing some of the changes into your business, or your consultants are implementing them into their desks. This is the very best way. It's like having me on their shoulder for an 8 to 12 week period as they start putting some of the changes in, and I can help them to make that work. So if you want to enrol in any of those courses, you will see that there's a button at the left-hand side of your page here saying click here to enrol. Please do click on that button if you want to take up some of the training that we're offering. This is going out very, very quickly, so you want to act quite fast if you want to get onto it. Once you've clicked to enrol, your final step will be able to choose the course that you're looking for and the package that you're looking for and click enrol course. When you finish ordering, you will receive a message from me on when we can sit down as a one-on-one and let me help you and your management team to ensure the training that you guys are taking is going to reach your business in the best way of doing it. So you get to enrol on the coaching call with me. You'll also receive an email with all the information you need to onboard your team member onto the training. And we're kicking off the Profitable Recruiter in just 2 weeks' time. So get your guys enrolled and we can get working with them very quickly. Now, if you're concerned about the fact that it might not work for you, then I do offer a full 30-day money-back guarantee. If you are putting the work in and you can show me what your client converters are looking at and it's not working for you, I will gladly give you a refund within those 30 days. So just as a recap, standard is access to the online, bestseller is access to the online plus the Facebook book plus the coaching calls and 1 day in London with me, and the ultimate is all of that plus 3 full days in London and 4 live coaching calls. So all you need to do is choose your package. Okay, I do get asked a number of times what level of recruiter is this best for. This is best for any level of recruiter, although I would say it's probably best if they spend the first 3 months working in your business first before they start taking a leap into making more profits for you. So give them the basics, make sure that they can understand a job spec, that they can be able to match candidates to that job spec, that they can find candidates, and they're able to take a candidate and a client through to making a placement. Yes, I often get asked, can I use this as an induction? Yes, you absolutely can, but I would need to talk to you about that because there's a very specific way of making this work. So if you wanted to use this as part of your induction, to use the online training or even the live training as part of it, I would urge you to email me, Ali@Flourish Recruitment Training, and I can walk you through the best way of making that happen within your business. I often hear as well, I've bought online recruitment video training before, but now what I've actually put together here is a step-by-step process and solution on how you can become more profitable. This isn't about going into an online library and choosing from hundreds of different videos. This is a specific training course where I will take you step by step, and you need to be able to complete each of the parts of it to make it work for you. So yes, there are quite a few videos in there, but I'm going to drip feed them to you so you do it very systematically. And another thing I often get asked is, can I get a discount if I enrolled 7 of my team members? Short answer is yes. Email me, Ali at Flourish Recruitment Training, and we'll talk about it. And last one, can I pay via invoice rather than direct debit or credit card? Absolutely. You can you can email me and we can talk about that too. So all you need to do is click on the click here to enroll, and if you're interested in the course, then you can choose the one you want or put me an email. So what I would like to do now is see if anybody has got any questions at all. So let me just, if you've got any questions regarding the Client Converter, regarding niching, regarding anything you like at all, regarding the course, if you like, that's absolutely fine. Just pop it into the chat box. I've got one question here. Are these one-time fees or monthly? Ari, there's a choice. So they're either a one-time fee of the full amount or 3 monthly payments. So you can choose which one would suit you better. If you choose the one-time fee, then you will see that there is a small discount involved in that rather than doing it over a period of time. Okay, another question I've got here is, will you be covering the client? Yes, absolutely. I will be covering in detail how to put a client converter together and how to niche into your business. Another question I've got here. Okay, yes, absolutely. You can put more than one person onto the course, but please email me and we'll set up a time to talk, and I'll find out the type of consultants you're looking at putting on it and how many, and we can talk about how to best put a package together exactly for you. Ari, yes, there will be a recording of this call. I'm going to make sure that you get a replay of this. Hopefully that should go out tomorrow, but it will be within the next 24 hours. So if you would like to listen again on how to put a client converter together, then you are absolutely welcome to do that. Okay, I'm not seeing any more questions moving forwards. So again, if you would like to enroll in the course or enroll one of your team members in the course, please do so. You can click on the click here to enroll, or you can send me an email and I'll be more than happy to talk to you one-on-one about it. So I hope you've enjoyed the training today. It's been lovely to have you here. Good luck, and I hope you all have very successful weeks and months in front of you. Take care. Goodbye now.